in a
You
dire
get a
state
few
of
sprained
health.
ankles. I've got something for you.
Did anybody, nobody drowned or anything like that?
I've lost the label between here and Dover.
Ah, what a lovely bottle. What is it,
pretty
Rosie?
price. I don't know. Actually,
Did you bring a
just
bottle over there?
The thought's there. It's not a very nice wine. I've already tried
But
some.
it's a lovely bottle. What are you going to do next?
I don't know. I'm just going to have a rest now until I can get another job. But I've only been back 2 weeks, so... And it was really hectic.
You've got practically everything as far as I can make out in your garden, but have you got any of these very small, usually rather hard pears?
No, I haven't got a pear tree at all.
Really?
No, it's something that I'll have to put in.
That's it. I would have thought that with an old-fashioned garden like you had, you probably had them, you know. And I can remember we had them in the garden many, many years ago. And before I knew really anything very much about preserving and so on, every year I'm going to cut that tree down because the pears are just so frightful. And I used to try stewing them and with and without sugar and so on. I could never, ever get any other than little hard bullets. They were horrible, you know. But I've since discovered, of course, how one treats them. But this is a marvellous chutney to make with those small pears. And if you like ginger and apple with it, very nice. That's what I'm doing. But if you've got quince in your garden, have you?
No, I haven't.
Quince, no, another thing you haven't got, no. That's another very hard fruit. Then you could do pear and quince chutney as well, which is very nice. Same recipe, but using pears with quince, you know. Now, all you do is for, say, a 1 pound quantity of the little hard pears, peel them and core them. To that, add ½ a pound of onions and ½ a pound of tomatoes. And if you've got green ones, you can use them.
Oh, I had so many because we just didn't have the weather to ripen them.
No.
They were out of doors,
That's
you see.
right.
Masses
and they're
masses
very
of green
good in a
ones.
chutney like this, and also you don't need to skin them. When you use the red ones, the skins have got much tougher. And so when I use red ones, I do skin those, so ½ a pound of tomatoes and 1 cooking apple. And then you put that through the mincer or into a food processor, whichever you have, and cover it and cook it like that as a mush until, in fact, it's tender. Now, this is the thing that is the basis of a really good chutney when you're using hard fruits, like the pears or the quince. And then to that, you add the stem ginger, which is quite easy to buy, and 3 pieces of that, which I cut into, or chop it sort of roughly, and also a little of the syrup as well. Like so. I love this ginger, actually.
So do I.
I like it like that, but funnily enough, I do not like it covered with chocolate.
No, neither do
Some
I.
people,
I
no.
like it on a fork, straight out of the jar.
That's right.
Just like
That's
that.
right. About 4 ounces of raisins, a few more if you're feeling generous, and 3/4 of a pound of the very dark, soft brown sugar. Not the muscovado, but just dark, soft brown sugar. And that is also where you get the lovely dark, rich colour from. 3/4 of a pint, approximately, of vinegar. Straightforward vinegar, not the pickling ones sold for making chutneys. You don't need that. And then
I see. Just malt vinegar.
you don't need that, just ordinary malt vinegar. Because the spices and things we're adding ourselves, you see. I think an awful lot of chutneys tend to taste the same because people buy pickling vinegar, which has got set spices in it, so that everything tastes the same no matter what what main ingredient you're using. Cayenne pepper, and I use about a good ½ teaspoonful because I like it quite hot. And then a little powdered ginger, and this again depends again on how much ginger you personally like. Try about, say, 1/4 teaspoon, then and then increase it as you like it. And 2 teaspoonfuls of horseradish cream sauce. Now, if in fact you've got horseradish in the garden, here I go again. No.
Well, no, with all these things, if I hadn't got it, then one of my neighbours has, you see.
That's right.
It's quite easy to
if
get
you do
hold
that,
of
then
it.
you only need, about, if you've got the root, you only need about a teaspoonful of the grated root because it's very, very hot out. And about 2 sticks of celery, finely chopped.
Mary, this isn't really a way of using up a glut of pears, is it? Because you've got comparatively little amount of pear compared with all the other ingredients.
Indeed, yes. No, this is really just a rather special chutney
Yes.
that you can use these hard pears
Yes.
for. You can also use good pears as well, of course.
Yes.
But, now you just leave that, put that over a moderate heat, and keeping it stirred from time to time, you cook it. You need about 1/4 ounce of salt, by the way, in that as well, which I haven't put. got about 1/4 ounce of salt, and also my little bag, and that's a little bit of muslin with some peppercorns, about a dozen, and a few blades of mace. So there are your pickling condiments.
That's the thing I forget to take out before I liquidise my soups.
And you've ruined the blades in your... You
No, the
haven't.
blades are all right, but the soup has little bits of muslin in it, you see.
Dear.
I do it every time.
Now look, after about 4 hours, you can hear it. It's a little bit like jam. Can you hear it? It's sticky and thick and unctuous and dark and rich and absolutely delicious. And I put a little tiny bit out for you to try, and I want you to tell me what you think.
Yes. So there's no other test except that the actual liquid has gone.
Oh yes, you're driving
There's
that
nothing
off and
dripping
making
from
it
it.
rich. No, nothing,
Yeah.
no.
It's changing my whole attitude, not only having the garden, but having a big larder with a stone
put it all
floor
in.
and huge shelves.
Because you can't
and-
bear to see the shelves empty, and you want, yes. Well, I'll
yes,
pot up.
lovely.
It's nice, isn't it? I will pot up some of that for you and give it to you.
Oh, well, that's very
You'd like
kind.
that just to add to your shelves.
What I can do, every year I can bring you all my surplus produce, and you can make something and give it back to me to eat. Don't you think that's a good idea?
Wouldn't like to employ me, would you?
But you see, each year there's too much of something.
Well, yes, always. That's
The thing is, honestly, I know you can't see it, but you're